All right. Christmas questions. No, we can put that off till after New Year's. Sniffers. I don't like people who sniff things. Okay.
Give me a for instance on that one.
I just don't like sniffers. I'm not going to judge them.
People walk into a shop and sniff something, or are they like? What do you mean?
We better bring out our guests. Like,
no, not until you've explained sniffers to me.
There's people who sniff things. There are people in the audience. I would love to talk to a sniffer. I dated a sniffer once.
I need to know what you're talking about, like on a day-to-day. Like
people who sniff things, even though they know they're gonna smell bad. Like they sniff, they like pick up like a piece of shit off this, and they'll be, and it's like, what are you doing? Why did you do that? Why did you sniff that? It's like a thing you found in a mailbox.
I'm doing a camera take.
Oh. Let's bring out.
Wait, no. We're not done with sniffers. Why? Who's sniffing what? Why are people sniffing things? Like
I don't know.
Are you talking about someone that goes into a bakery and goes, "This muffin? Do I want this muffin or that muffin?" They sniff the muffin.
No, you should sniff a muffin. Sniff it. Your experience there is like defined by margins. It's either going to be a bad smelling muffin.
Who is sniffing what wrong? I don't understand yet.
There are people who like obsessively like sniff everything they're about to eat. They sniff like shit that they find. Like they go like what is this thing on the side of the napkin dispenser? Like it's like brown. And then they'll be like, I was like, why are you sniffing it?
What? Who did this?
There's got to be a sniffer in this audience.
Does anybody? Does this resonate?
There's a guy that's kind of like that. I'm telling you, I think it's like some kind of tick.
That you have to sniff things.
You got to sniff it.
Even something that you know is going to smell like something bad, probably.
It's too time consuming. A guy that worked at Target.
I want to talk about sniffing for the rest of my life.
Let's talk about sniffing with my compulsion is to bring out both guests at once so that we can.
Let's do it.
Let's bring out Kumail Nanjiani and John Roy. Hi, guys.
Yeah. If you sit too close to me, then it means you're gay.
Oh, well, fuck then. All right, let's do it.
I'm with you on sniffers. Anti-sniffing.
You've met sniffers, right?
Oh, yeah. This sniffing stuff.
I don't know whether to be for or against his stance. I don't understand. I haven't
I'm with
fully
him.
explained what a sniffer...
I don't even like when people are choosing muffins and then they sniff it. Like, don't take some of that.
Where are there loose muffins? Like Starbucks, they have them behind the counter. You can't just look at them and smell.
I've been there when they're like, can I see that muffin? And people hand them the muffin from behind the counter. They smell it and they're like, no, I want a
They'll
different
hand
one.
it to you?
Yeah, they'll do anything. I don't like sniffers. I'm with you.
I've known people that like will take off their shoe and like they'll look at the bottom of it and there'll be like some gum or something on it and they'll sniff it.
That's the term. It's bog trotters, not just sniffers, but people who smell something nasty. BOGTROTGE.
I kind of want to not talk at all for the rest of the show. Sit in silence for an hour and all go home.
That would be an amazing like thing to do for his birthday.
You finally had the last word.
It's just wait, yeah, and give Adam the gift of showing him what would happen if everyone just listened. And there would be like time enough at last when the glasses break, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, oh, everyone, and then he like slowly walk up and he'd be like, and another thing about this. You were saying this other thing earlier, and everyone would just keep nodding and listening. Blog trotters? Bog trotters.
Bog trotters.
I always felt like...
You know how when you're at a party and a couple people are talking, and then someone yells out something from across the room, and it kind of kills the conversation? That's not happening here.
We do have a more open format here.
And it's Adam Goldberg. That's his role.
Yeah, I mean...
That's his role. And our role is to be annoyed by it.
John Roy, what do you think of Adam Goldberg?
I don't really know what the issues are. I'm a latecomer to this. I don't know anything about the man, to tell you the truth.
All right, you guys want something to talk about?
Oh, can I say one thing real quick about Target? We I was at, this was a Brooklyn Target, and this to me encompasses Target and Brooklyn. Emily was walking around, and she had a pen in her hand, and this guy yelled at her. He was like, "Why you got a pen in your hand? You're not at work." That's Target.
Wow. That's Stargate.
That's Target.
Stargate.
Yeah, all right.
Thank you.
Applause break. One man applause break for Stargate.
That's my audience. Is one person. Was that you? Was that you, Adam? God damn it!
I'm starting to see the issues. I think now. I think I'm getting caught up to speed.
Yeah, buddy. I'm with you on the Lena Dunham thing. We don't have to talk about it more, but it really angers me. I think she's so talented and so good, and it is so gross.
The methodology is the disgusting part. It's not. It's beyond like whether or not the attempt to make it an issue about whether something is or isn't, or is right or is wrong. The methodology that people try to use when they attack people is very telling. It's very disgusting. It just grosses me out. It really is it sums it up to say wow, she's really an important person. She really fucking is forcing weird ooze to come out of the ground on all sides, all around, because who had any idea that this was still needed to be resolved? This idea that you can't we're talking about it now.
She's going to be making awesome stuff for the next 50 years.
My parents love Girls. They're always telling me to watch it. Is it good? Is it that?
I really like it.
Yes, it's good. She's a good writer. I would not want to get in a writing contest with her, and she's 28, and I'm a genius. And I'm old. I would not. I say that about very few people. I would not. It's intimidating because she makes choices that I would not be instinctive for me to make, which is what an important writer does. I feel that way about Woody Allen. I feel that way about the writers that I really respect. When I watch a Coen Brothers movie, when I watch she's a good writer, and that I would easily, before I would even touch all of this ridiculousness and this political fucking socio-psychological bullshit, I will definitely easily in a court of law prove to you that she's a good writer or your money back. And that is why I guess the elitist side of me is a little invoked when people gang up on her, particularly for things. Because if you were a writer with a stutter, if you were a writer with a limp, if you were the thing that made it harder for you to wake up in the morning, even though it would fuel your work and make it important to other people, it wouldn't also be the thing that people could throw at you. But for women writers in this modern world, it's they're half the population, and it's not a disability to be a woman, and yet it gets thrown at you. It's you can make people angry. This is becoming very clear to me. And 3 years ago, I wouldn't be having this conversation. I wouldn't be feeling the way that I feel about this. But it's just everything is coming to the surface. You can just make people angry just by being a woman. You really can. It's fucking true. And you can especially do it by doing that, plus doing something like writing a television show.
Yeah, I was
writing a book.
I was reading this interview for the CEO of Yahoo. I forget her name. I think it's Marissa Mayer. And the interviewer described in great detail what she was wearing. That would never happen to a dude. All that stuff really, it's so insidious and you don't even think of it. But every time there's an interview with a woman, it's about what kind of shoes she was wearing before talking about how she thinks,
I was on Fox News on one of these shows, and the Piggy host of the show made this comment about one of the female Fox personalities, that she wasn't showing as much skin as she normally does. Me and Andrew WK was the other guest. We looked at each other like, Jesus.
I thought you were going to say Andrew Dice Clay.
No,
and I was
no. He is more appropriate for their network.
Yeah.
But so I looked at it, I go, that's fucking weird, right? And we're like, yeah, what a creepy joke. But it wasn't a joke. She came back later, changed, with more cleavage showing, because it was a serious order that she was given by the host. For real.
That laugh was laughing at something other than her misfortune. That's amazing. All right. So, all right. Done with that. I seriously, what I'm saying is Google the shit and like spend 30 minutes because it's kind of a study in history that's happening around you right now. And because I honestly, as a 41-year-old person with my full faculties and my ability to Google stuff, I went from hearing some shit to figuring out what the truth was. It took me an inordinately long time. And the truth is, like, I mean, we'd have to do a whole podcast to talk about it. But the bottom line is there's aggression like toward people that people want that needs to be addressed. It's not science, it's not argument, it's not debate. This isn't like an ancient Rome like platform where it's like, well, is this logical or another thing? It's not true. You hate. You don't like something. You're angry. And I think that I have felt that too. And I think I can understand it. But I think that it's like you have to look at moments of opportunity to reverse or at least like let go of shit that is inexplicably driving you. Because before you know it, you're like passionate about something and it doesn't make any sense that you're passionate about it. Like you're yelling at somebody and you're using your full IQ and all of your academic research to like wave a book in your hand and like yell at somebody about logic and flawed argument and all this stuff. But it's like, it doesn't matter anything you're saying. The whole reason why you went down that road with your book and with your IQ has to do with some weird moment with your mom in your kitchen. It's just come down to that, which is kind of exhilarating. And the aplomb with which she handles this, like, this fucking, like, a 28-year-old?
Right. When I was 28, fuck, dude, I would be like, why don't you like my band? Fuck you. Like, there was no, like, I couldn't even imagine being, responsible for any kind of responsible opinions.
Yeah, I would have fled. I leaked a Chevy Chase voicemail, and some Fletch fans called me an asshole, and I almost killed myself. I definitely almost left the country. I was a 40-year-old white man that had never had any problems in his life.
Fletch is a pretty good movie.
It's great.
The Underhills.
It's great, but I didn't do anything in front of his wife and kids. His kids are 50. All right.
They're his children, Dan. They were babies 49 years ago.
Sniffers, Gotham. I got sold on Gotham. We don't have to talk about that. That's like the nerd equivalent of Lena Dunham conversation. Gotham. Somebody sold me on Gotham.
Did you have a run-in with a sniffer recently that brings this up?
I sniffed some milk coming out of the fridge, and I thought, isn't it a drag when we have to sniff milk? Because isn't sniffing a debasing, horrible experience where you're like sniffing?
Yeah, but if you drink the shit milk, you want to have sniffed it.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I mean, fuck it. If I gotta do this, I'm gonna do it.
And that made me think of people who choose, or maybe they don't choose, maybe it's a compulsion. They live in a world of sniffing. They sniff shit they don't have to sniff. That's what I thought of it.
Milk you have to sniff. If you go down the road of having milk in your fridge too long, you got to sniff the milk.
You got to sniff milk.
But
kids.
Even if milk has...
Google Lena Dunham, learn about misogyny, and start sniffing milk.
And stop sniffing everything else.
Even if it's good, milk smells horrible.
That's true.
It's
always organic. You always know it's from an animal.
What other animal are there grown-ups still drinking milk, let alone another fucking species milk?
None. It's just us. We modified a gene to still drink milk after infancy. Like we're crazy people.
Yeah.